Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Gaming News of 2023 Recap with your host, Dan and Bob Video Games. What do you hear in gaming? Chris Wolfhard.
Most devastating year so far.
And Dr. Aggro.
Why is it called news when all this stuff is old?
Here on GigaBoots. Will that joke ever die?
No.
Not so long as I'm around.
It's you. You were keeping it alive all along. But hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gaming News of 2023 Recap. We have our fancy background. Nothing to see. Just this title right here, you know?
Yeah.
Don't worry about How's it going? We had a lot of news.
Things happened this year, it turns out.
This document took me 7 hours to make.
Hopefully it doesn't take 7 hours to read.
It will not take 7 hours to read. Unless we want to talk about everything for an hour. Dan, it took you 7 hours to write a document with 7 things in it?
It took 7 hours to write. I figured it'd take 7 hours to read.
Oh, man. Okay. Let's get to it. So, very first big thing of the year is big thing to mention, number 203. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink tweeted a 2023 release date with a trailer and promised more news that month. Are you excited for Grand Blue Relink, Bob?
Of course, and it actually is coming out next month.
Don't believe their lies.
They only moved 1 month out of the year. Incredible.
Wizards of the Coast canceled 5 video game projects already in early development, including one by Other Side Entertainment, which is the makers of Underworld Ascendant.
It's a good thing they really turned it around.
We only cover gaming layoffs. So there's about 1,200 from a certain company that we didn't cover that happened in the last month.
Yeah, it's really weird. When you go to videogamelayoffs.info or whatever the name of the website is, they actually don't include Meta.
Huh.
They include
even the gaming sections of Meta.
They include the small studios specifically at Meta, but if the numbers were never declared publicly. So somehow 10,000 layoffs happened at Meta this year, but none of those were gaming.
Sure.
Anyways, that moves us to big thing to mention number 204. Ubisoft leaks info saying that they've been wanting people to buy them out for a while, but nobody is biting. Chris notes, probably because they have 21,000 employees.
Yeah.
Simultaneously to this leak, Skull and Bones is delayed and 3 other unannounced Ubisoft games are canceled.
Man, we're on week 2.
We're on the second big thing of the year.
Ooh. This year's got hands already.
I don't get to choose what the news was. I just get to tell it to you all, so that way you can remember. Remember! Third big thing, which is big thing number 205. Dokapon Kingdom Connect is announced, and it threatens the well-being of all your relationships. Much later, chat will be angered that we only had one stream where there was a thermonuclear meltdown of relations between me, Bob, and Eric. We were too kind that second stream.
They were saying we were too kind the first stream. Yeah, it's weird. The second stream, you were constantly selling your own soul and then using that to sabotage everybody, but it was still too nice because you weren't driving nails between your finger and the fingernail.
Bruce Straley says the game industry needs better unions after The Last of Us HBO TV show doesn't credit him or pay him at all. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's sure fucked up.
Yeah. It sucks. Microsoft lays off 10,000 people, including people in the gaming division, including studios such as The Coalition, 343, and Bethesda. Leaks from 343 detailed their original plans with Joseph Staten to develop multiple campaign expansions over months, possibly years, extending the single player of Halo Infinite, which got axed in favor of multiplayer content, which was seen as more profitable. Staten later leaves to go to Netflix Gaming.
Man, that multiplayer content was sure more profitable, right?
Look, it was a little bump in the road, but I'm sure Microsoft has a healthy plan to get things back on track.
Like for Halo or for everything?
It's fine. Shut up. It's fine.
God. We're going to start running this show like it's Pee-wee's Funhouse, and anytime the word plan is used. Next big thing, which is big thing to mention number 206. Xbox announced that soon, we need to check that this actually happened. Xboxes will soon turn off instead of going into the weirdly power consumptive standby modes. Republicans are then performatively mad about it on the news. Theoretically, end users shouldn't care because theoretically, quick resume works. Theoretically.
Yeah, I think quick resume has failed more often than it has succeeded for me.
It's literally, if you ever see a human being ever talk about quick resume, it's how it's not working. That is how it's been.
They did seemingly get this update out. I could not find out when they did, but I did find people discussing it, so
Cool.
they did get it out eventually.
Because that standby mode on the Xbox, I remember people like showing the wattage, and it was weirdly high, considering the console should be doing jack all.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Forza Motorsport resurfaced that week with a presentation opened by Chris Sasaki, the legendary designer of game I can never remember.
Kill Switch.
Kill Switch. Not Kill Switch Engage, just Kill Switch. Kill Dot Switch, the fantastic 6th gen shooter, and then later gameplay designer on Gears of War. I have high hopes for this game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is announced as coming this year. We're now moving on to February. Oh man, this is when we really start hitting news that my brain goes, oh hey, this year. Rumbleverse shuts down with 3 weeks heads up. They offer refunds. Later, they explained in veiled terms that the game did fine, but not nearly good enough in Epic's opinion. Apparently, it was profitable, but not profitable enough.
What? That sucks.
Yeah, it does. Back 4 Blood is done. Complete. Bob and I still haven't given it a chance for some reason. We also haven't given
now
Marvel
you can't because you need people online, and I don't think there's fucking anybody still playing it.
Guess what? It's you.
You need 4 people, Dan.
Hey, Aggro.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
The unannounced single-player Titanfall game, Titanfall Legends, is canceled.
Ugh.
I'm still mad.
Yeah.
Immortals of Avium, but not Titanfall.
No.
I know!
It wasn't profitable. It wouldn't have been profitable.
That should be a millstone around every EA executives should now for the rest of time have to explain, now, why is this decision you're making not another Immortals of Avium?
Right.
What reassurance can you give us that this is the case?
I'm going to need to see a doctor's note that your brain is better than it was when you made that decision. Amazon bought Tomb Raider for either $57 million or $600 million. Seemingly, the first coverage didn't convert the exchange rate, so it's probably $57 million. But who knows?
Huh.
We don't know.
Weird.
I know. Maybe it came out eventually. Somebody clarified, but I don't think that was stuff we were supposed to know. More evidence that Billy Mitchell cheated comes forth, showing that he used an 8-way joystick. The original Donkey Kong arcade only uses 4-way stick, and you can tell because the gameplay does unnatural things when you're using an 8-way stick. Diagonals should not exist in the original Donkey Kong, apparently. Possibly the biggest news of February. We'll see as we go. NASCAR bans the video game wall ride tech.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That was good.
It was really good. He's like, what? I learned it on the GameCube.
And then they were like, well, if a lot of people do this now, then they will die. So we're banning it. Goodbye. You have to.
The PS5 finally got that firmware update that supports 1440p and VRR simultaneously. Technically, it was the beta, but I don't care. I'm not going to track down when it actually launched. Big thing to mention number 208, Dragon Age Dreadwolf pre-alpha footage leaks. Chris, do you have any opinions on that?
No.
It looked like they were trying to make God of War 2018. I still kind of don't think that game's ever going to come out.
I'm worried you're right.
Yeah, it feels more likely every day.
Yeah. I just want them to ship a game. I just want to know that like Western publishers can still ship a game because it's gotten so bad. Crossfire X is shutting down. Bob, how hard did this news hit you?
Not at all.
Okay, well, then we'll move on to Earthworm Jim 4 was canceled. Bob, how hard
dare
did
they?
Bob needs the follow-up to Earthworm Jim 3D, a game he's going to be playing very soon.
Yeah, I would like that knowledge of having played that game to go somewhere.
It really sucks that the whole reason it was announced was for the scam console.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Tommy Tallarico's Proud Mom console.
Yes.
Earthworm Jim was announced for that with an obvious, like, rough-looking flash animation that pretended to be gameplay. And they canceled it shortly after that was canceled. Or whatever the state of that is.
Yeah, I don't know what
it's in a weird legal flux. The UK CMA warns Activision, says if they want the deal to go through, they should sell Call of Duty to another company. Then Bobby Kotick has a weird rant on public news. I believe the Big Think notes possibly drunk.
He did. It was a very bizarre tangent. He went on about how all the American companies need to merge into one super company or they can't compete with Japan and China. Like it was fucking unreal.
All right. It was a rare peek into executive brain.
Honestly, at this point, with what we know about Elon Musk, I assume every executive at any tech company is just high on ket at all times.
Nintendo announces that Tears of the Kingdom is $70 by saying, we determined the MSRP for any Nintendo product on a case-by-case basis. Which is really weird because, like, before they said that, it was like 7 years straight of $60.
Yes.
Well, then someone told them they could do that.
And then they went, we are now deciding on a case-by-case basis. I think they've done a couple games this gen that were 50.
Yeah, there have been a few, but most of them are
60.
ports.
Yeah, and most, right. Yeah. If we're lucky.
Yeah.
I swear some of those ports were 60.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're like Bowser's a cat.
$60.
$60.
I'm pretty sure Skyward Sword was 60, yeah.
I think Skyward might have been 50. I feel like that might have been one of the few, but I don't even know.
Yeah, the ones I know of, there we go. Thank you, chat. Detective Pikachu, 2. Miitopia and the WarioWare were all 50.
Okay.
Larry Feinberg, the host, the AI-powered host of the Jerry Seinfeld parody, Nothing Forever.
Oh, God. That was real, wasn't it?
Yeah, goes on a transphobic joke routine during a stand-up segment and gets the channel shut down. It will return, but it will not be the same. Apparently what happened is the program's AI generation stuff couldn't connect to the most recent version of ChatGPT or whatever. Had to revert to an older version, and they didn't realize there was no content filter in place on the older version at all.
Wow.
You know, people thought it was bad enough, the thought of like my console can't connect to the internet, so I can't play my digital games, but man, you can't connect to this server, you get canceled. Big Think Dimension number 209, Echoes of Mana announces they're ending service in May. It launched not even a whole year before this announcement.
Yeah.
It's the mobile game. Big Think Dimension number 210. The studio head of Firaxis Games leaves after 25 years. Jake Solomon, who is the creative director of XCOM and Midnight Suns, also leaves the studio after being there for 20. They were replaced by someone whose pedigree was so bad I didn't want to write it down because it made me hideously angry.
Yeah, that was rough.
The CEO, I believe, their pedigree was like, yeah. Anyway. Shinji Mikami leaves Tango Gameworks. Later, we find out he has a no-compete clause that keeps him from making games for a bit, which I believe that has ended or is ending soon, question mark?
Yeah, I think
it was
said it just ended.
6 months, I think.
There we go. Also, we first learned during this big thing about this year's Call of Duty being turned from a Modern Warfare 2 expansion into a full game. It's okay,
Not
though.
well.
We have good news. We have good news. Xbox signed a 10-year binding contract to bring Xbox and Activision games to Nintendo gamers. So
Great.
because you wouldn't naturally want to bring Call of Duty to the Switch 2, a console that should seemingly be perfectly feasible of a destination for that. Shit, man, why wouldn't you just backport several Call of Duties? Like, that just seems obvious. Also, Activision games already, like a number of them already came over this.
Yeah, I don't. It was that weird thing where they were writing deals for a company they didn't own yet.
Speaking of which, that will continue.
Yeah, of course.
According to Gary Whitta, all his work on Forspoken didn't even make it into the final game. The dude did world building for it, and then he said, yeah, after we left, and they just went off and did their own thing, and what I did basically isn't in this game.
That's so stupid.
That's so depressing.
Yeah. How much does the industry waste money on stuff like that?
I don't fucking know. Suicide Squad is announced to come out May 26th.
What a game. It came out, right?
Don't worry, it's coming out in 6 weeks. The entire story has seemingly already leaked in the form of cutscenes all across the internet, so people are already like trying to dox the developers for things that happen in the story.
Holy shit. I was like, why are they doxing the developers? Did they have a cute song where they sung about how all women are pretty? No, it's something they did in the game. Great. So it's repugnant on this end, and then when I get to experience the story, it's horrible on that end instead of being cute on this end and horrible on that end. So are we doing a 3-cam video or?
No, because that game comes out the same day as Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Which point?
Which is like 2 days after Tekken 8.
We're now in March. Big thing to mention, number 211. Luminous Productions is folded back into Square Enix.
Whoa, how did that happen?
So unexpected.
Yuji Naka admits to insider trading in court.
I want them numbers on how much Forspoken cost.
Oh, I need that.
Yes, I would also very much
If
like that.
anything from Square Enix ever cost over 250 mil, it was Forspoken. FromSoft announced that Elden Ring is getting an expansion pack. It's still not out.
Yeah, we still don't have it like
we don't even know what year this is happening.
Yeah, there's not even been a trailer.
And then possibly the best news, a big thing to mention, 211, which already had the Yuji Naka thing, which is pretty great. The 4chan leak that detailed the Pokemon DLCs 2 weeks before they were announced also says that they're working on a graphics update for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for the Switch 2. This is the number one reason that I'm really probably not going to touch those DLCs before Game of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, if they're getting an update where the game might look acceptable
and might run great,
right?
Like, I want that version. Why would I ruin my experience to nominate some things for categories?
Right.
Because that's all that would come out of that anyways. We don't
really do.
I don't really shove DLC. Like, we had a strong year. I'm not going to shove a Pokemon DLC into my top 10 unless, especially since it's a normal DLC. If it was deranged, right, that would be different. If it was like, we've completely redone the whole game, that would be something. But who knows? We'll see next year. But once again, that 4chan leak was 2 weeks in advance, so it had
additional details that were also correct.
Yeah, it had a lot of details correct. So big thing to mention, number 212, GameStop canceled all the in-store pre-orders for Resident Evil 4 Collector's Edition and some of the online ones. As an apology, they offer a $10 UWU coupon.
This is wrong with them.
There were multiple times over the rest of this year where it was like, I got to order this game. I can't do it from GameStop.
Yeah.
Fair.
Power to the players.
Get in your cage, player.
Buy a Funko Pop.
No, and then they hit me with the fire hose like it's Planet of the Apes. Big thing to mention, number 213, Symbiogenesis reveals their first trailer and screenshots. Investors ask them, how are you going to keep making more money every quarter forever? An outgoing CEO says, blockchain.
Yeah, Symbiogenesis was the Square Enix thing that everybody thought had something to do with Parasite, even that turns out they just thought that word sounded cool and it had nothing to do with it at all.
AI generated assets, fingers were wrong all over the place. Horrible NFT thing.
Yeah.
Meta lays off 10,000 people.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
It just happens. Hajime Tabata's new game is a metaverse game. Pop quiz. Is that game still in development?
We don't know. We don't know anything. We also don't know about the game that he's seemingly developing with a major publisher that came out in 2021 that we guessed to be Microsoft, but we have no idea. We don't know anything.
Yeah, weird.
Microsoft signs a 10-year deal with 2 cloud gaming platforms, Boosteroid and Ubitus.
They're real, we swear.
Chris points out in the Big Think document of the time that one of those companies does NFT stuff, so Phil kind of broke his promise of not getting involved with NFT stuff.
What a surprise.
Twitter thinks a new hack is in development, but it turns out the CEO is just a cock tease, and I am fucking furious. The original text is something along the lines of, we are making a new hack, is something I would love to say.
Right?
And I get furious. That's the sort of thing I would say if we were making one. What a deranged bastard. The financial meltdown at SVB happens, which then affects the plans for Michael Mumbauer and John Garvin's amazing game called Ashfall that we talked about in 2022. They are hopeful, however, that the sales for the comic book will help them weather the storm on the way to making the IP into a game and a TV series and much more. Bob, who is Michael Mumbauer and who is John Garvin?
John Garvin, as everyone knows, the acclaimed director of Days Gone and Siphon Filter.
And Michael Mumbauer is the dude who was at Sony Visual Arts Group and said, hey, you should let us make games too. And then they were like,
oh my.
He was the most wrong anyone had ever been.
His comic has been coming out.
Yes, this comic is real. You can't escape it.
And it's saving the development of this game. A real cursed content club.
Yeah, wow.
Worth noting, specifically, Michael Mumbauer was the one who was like, you should let us make TV shows for the game's plot in between the games. And then later he was like, never mind, just let us make a game. And both times they were shot to death. One time they were like, yeah, sure, you can make this Last of Us Part 1 remake. And then halfway through they shot them to death and gave it to Naughty Dog. What an industry.
Yeah.
Big Think Dimension number 214. Respawn sets up a third studio in Madison, Wisconsin, led by Ryan Burnett, formerly of Raven Software. I hope something comes of this.
Hopefully it hasn't shut down by the end of this document.
Right? Maybe they can make Titanfall Legends for a couple of years and then it gets canceled. Counter-Strike 2 is announced with its revolutionary sub-tick update architecture for online play, which is amazing and really cool if you look into it. See, online games have this thing called a tick rate where they check in every so often, like 60 ticks would be 60 times a second. It also has this volumetric smoke tech, and that was really, really cool. I think more investment in the sub-tick update architecture, like stuff like that for other games would be super sick. Like, it's cool that there's a major two major things with Counter-Strike 2 that make it really like revolutionary.
I didn't really check in and see if when it launched, if anyone did proper testing and stuff to see if that helped and made it actually feel really good.
At very least, people confirmed it's real.
Okay.
Which is good because, sometimes companies be saying things about netcode and they're lying.
And then the volumetric smoke is really cool.
Yeah. No, and it's gameplay relevant. It's really, really neat.
Yeah.
Big Think number 215 is when Multiversus crawls back into its hole to become perfect self.
It'll come back
sure.
right.
Uh-huh. What is that crying I hear from inside the cave?
Like it's really scary because first of all, it's impossible. Like if obviously this wouldn't have happened if the game had taken off. They would not have shut it down and then pulled it back in.
Uh-huh.
So this is transparently just, we're gonna try again and maybe it'll catch this time. God, I hope it does. We spent an normal game budget amount of money on it.
It's okay. This time they're going to have Sakurai. That's why they had to turn it off and turn it back on. They turned it off in order to get Sakurai, and they're going to remake the whole game, and it's going to be just as good as Smash Brothers.
It'll come out alongside Space Jam 3. Yeah.
God, they put LeBron in that. What the fuck's wrong with them? Like,
Dude,
they're so stupid. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was Rain Dog? Why did you need an original character with a design that wasn't good?
I have no idea what's with Rain Dog.
We can't explain Rain Dog.
I want a Rain Dog shirt, though, because I could wear that until the day I die, and I don't think anyone other than you fucks would recognize it.
Yeah, no.
I bet Bob, if we didn't talk about Rain Dog and I just showed up with that shirt one day, he would just be like, what the hell's that?
Yeah, I'd be like, what's that League of Legends character?
Oh, this, it's Snuffles.
Okay.
He's my main now. He's great. And I've always loved him. Been very outspoken. A Moo-Moo's number 2 to Snuffles. 10 Congress people and a senator, largely from Microsoft's home state, grouse, piss, and moan about the FTC trying to crack down on the acquisition and start talking about how unfair the deals that Sony makes overseas are. And then a person who's in charge of talking to other countries about trade rights and things is just like, yeah, well, we'll look into that. That sounds terrible. And possibly the worst news of all of March. The Lords of the Fallen is the new name of the, or is the old name, and they changed the name of the game to Lords of the Fallen.
So now there's 2 games named identically. It's fine.
Oh, very smart. You know, when Ratchet and Clank was just called Ratchet and Clank, and it was a remake of Ratchet and Clank, at least those were both ostensibly the same game. 20 years apart or whatever.
Right.
Not 2 games. April. Konami starts rebuilding their ability to develop games internally. A new studio in Osaka for full AAA development was built, and a new R&D center is going to be finished in 2025.
Sure hope this is going okay.
Yeah, me too. I think Konami realizes their IP has value now.
Yeah.
I sure hope any of those projects they've announced are good.
I also hope that.
Yeah, here we are many months later. It's like, we still haven't even announced anything.
Since they got out of the industry, I'm really scared that they like leapfrogged the part. Like when all the other Japanese developers learned from 7th Gen, I'm worried that like Konami leapfrogged that entire development. So now it's going to come out. The Silent Hill 2 remake cost $300 million.
Yeah, that might happen.
Yeah.
At least Sony's partially footing that bill.
Right.
Quantum Break leaves Game Pass over licensing issues. Did it come back? The answer is yes. Wow. It did come back. I was worried it wouldn't come back. So we begin a new arc. Arc 2 was delayed to late 2024, and the Unreal Engine 5 remaster of Arc Survival Evolved was announced, along with shutting down the original game's servers in August. Did that happen? Yes, but it happened 1 month later. It happened in September. They shut those servers down.
That was some shit.
Wow.
Motherfuckers. The Department of Justice sued Activision Blizzard for fixing the salaries of their esports leagues surrounding Overwatch and Call of Duty. Activision Blizzard countered by announcing a new Overwatch 2 character and settling immediately with the Department of Justice. Also, the National Labor Board sued Activision Blizzard for 2 more things and said more is coming. That's good. We'll never have to read a news story like that ever again.
Yeah.
It's all solved now.
Yeah, no, nothing this week, right?
Or ever again, because Microsoft got them.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Big thing to mention, number 217. Ark's developer apologizes over the remake being $49 and including Ark 2 on Xbox and PC. So they changed the price. Here's what they did. It's now $60, but they won't charge you $20 each for the DLC you already bought in the new remake.
Oh, thank you, corporate masters. Oh, you're so generous.
No,
I have to buy less of the thing that I already fucking bought.
No, they're no longer bundling Ark 2 with it on any platform. Because before it was $50 and it came with Ark 2 on Xbox and PC. Now, $60 by itself. but you don't have to pay for the DLC. Trine 5 is announced. It came out last month. It was, in fact, more Trine.
Whoa!
I went and looked this up to make sure it came out by now. Yeah. That's out. It's more Trine.
When's Trine month, Dan?
You thought Armored Core Months drove people away? You look forward to us hitting 100 viewers.
Hey, you can do every Trine game in one stream. That'll definitely pull in some numbers.
If I could do every Trine game in one stream, I would be like Fry when he drank the 100th coffee, apparently. That's the level of superpower you need for that. Resident Evil Village removes de novo.
That happens to like fucking everything now.
Ghostwire adds de novo. And apparently quadrupled the size of its executable? Great.
Man. Ghostwire sure was an L.
Yeah, it was.
It is so unfortunate. Oh, NVIDIA released more graphics cards that are disappointing because they're too expensive. Cyberpunk adds technical preview is the name of the mode, and it's like plastered all over it, even though it's in your game. It's in your game, not much of a preview. This is literally just a rendering mode for your game. But anyways, adds Overdrive RT for path tracing.
Great.
Path tracing is real and the future. Sony acquires Firewalk Studios, who are making the game Concord, which comes out next year, we're told.
Uh-huh.
Look forward to Concord in 2024. So Sony acquires...
This is Sandwich Game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Space Sandwich Game, yeah.
Space Sandwich Game. We don't know anything more, but it's coming out next year, and it's a live service game, and it will definitely not be shut down.
Nope.
Definitely not be canceled before it even gets out.
Epic acquires Acquirus, a Brazilian-based developer who made the Horizon Chase series, and Epic renamed them Epic Games Brazil. I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're probably not, because this was months before the mass firings.
Right. Because this is still part of them building up and not realizing things aren't going well somehow. Square Enix partners with Elixir Games to promote Web3 gaming. Elixir runs a PC game launcher with normal games and Web3 games on it.
I want you to go to elixir.app and look at these fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah, they are
make
unreal.
Up all every single it's a joke of a joke of a joke at this point, but they really do look like, do we need a fake game for a poster in another game?
Yeah, it really looks like that. Holy shit.
It's all of them. Half of them are transparent copyright infringement, like the one that's just Hello Kitty go-kart, but with slightly changed Hello Kitty.
One moment.
It's like sub Game Loft.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, chat. Brace yourself. Is it this one or the other one? One moment. I was about to show a completely irrelevant picture. There we go. Okay, it's that one. PNG. Okay. Look at this shit. Yeah. Who the fuck is...
Duh.
Oh, I love Metastrike. One moment. I'm pretty sure Metastrike has an ad from fucking Internet Historian that looks like Rady Shady on the left there.
I'm on the wrong part of the App Store.
And like this sucks so bad, because if these were just normal bad games, I would be so hyped to try some of these. Like, I want to try boss fighters with a guy in an army helmet shooting at like a sci-fi robot from a 1950s thing. I want to play Elemental Raiders that have like 2 steps down from League of Legends designs. I want to play Bornless, a game that has an Agent 47 knockoff carrying a Tommy gun in front of a logo that doesn't look like it should belong to a game of this genre or type.
I'm sorry. I'm caught up in Meta Ops, play and earn. That's literally what it says.
Yeah.
You can buy this game, the Agent 47 knockoff game on Steam. It's also coming out on Steam. It's called The Bornless, which is maybe the stupidest name for a game I've ever heard.
They're like, they'll think it's the Bourne Identity, right?
The Bourne list. Like, that is the peak of not giving a shit about your project's title.
Yeah. Holy shit. So anyways, that's a powerful partnership. I look forward to more coming of that in the future. Resident Evil 2 and 3 on PC receive updates that accidentally disable the ray tracing. Later, they get a way to turn it back on by having you download a thing. Like, there's a way to tell Steam, download the older version of this game. It's really weird. This update also broke the mod support. Because the mods were designed around the older. Yeah, well, at very least, at first, they just gave you a way to type a command into a thing to download the old version. Joseph Staten now joins Netflix Games. Atari acquires 100 80s and 90s PC console game IPs, the most noteworthy of which is Bubsy.
Bubsy sweep.
Now we start a weird arc where Microids is going to come up, and I feel like in a perfect world, Microids wouldn't come up, but they're made relevant later in the year. Big thing to mention, number 219, a Totally Spies game is announced for PC exclusively in 2024. I am full of rage.
Because you know you're going to have to play it?
I better not have to play that.
I hear even Totally Spies fans were upset with the new season because they're not getting back any of the voice actors.
Yeah, they're not getting back
true.
any of the voice actors, and if I remember correctly, the designs changed, like they always do when you do a reboot.
Right.
I don't remember how. I'm just going to assume it's 2 Cal Arts. I haven't seen.
Are we still saying that?
People are.
I would have to assume that, judging by the fan base of Totally Spies, that their complaints sounded something like, "Ho ho ho! How can I goon to this without the voice actors? Ho ho!"
That's not something I ever needed to hear in a fake French accent.
I'm going to go smoke tiny cigarettes. Oh.
So I said Microids would become relevant. They're the ones handling that. They're the publisher on that, but they have a different game. An Inspector Gadget game tilts off numerous Xbox stands on Twitter who then yell at Microids as to why it's not on Xbox. An Inspector Gadget game. These grown fucking adults had a meltdown and went, I thought you wanted to sell copies. There are so many Xbox owners who would enjoy this Inspector Gadget game. You are missing out on all these sales. Microids, reply to me. And they're standing like Ben Swallow. We will come back to the story as it develops.
Just so we're clear, this game looks like trash.
It looks slightly better than the Elixir games we just showed.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just barely. Hasbro sends Union Busters to reclaim accidentally leaked cards. I believe it was Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh.
Yep, and they sent fucking Pinkertons.
Yeah. The director of Fuga Melodies of Steel 1 and 2 leaves CyberConnect 2 to work at Platinum Games. Clearly, he shook Kamiya to his core, and that's why Kamiya
that was
leaves.
not a good career trajectory.
Oh, no.
How long until we hear about him leaving Platinum Games?
I don't know. I'm very interested.
It's okay. He's working on their Web3 game where it's sad puppies that you can buy.
Ooh,
They get fed through a meat grinder.
Yes.
Oh, no. The United Kingdom's CMA blocks the Microsoft Activision Blizzard King acquisition temporarily. Bobby Kotick goes on TV and makes an insane implication that the FTC forced the CMA to do this. That's how government bodies work.
Uh-huh.
Those heady days before when we thought maybe it won't happen. Maybe rationale and people doing their jobs will win out in the end.
Maybe government oversight will be used for the correct thing for once. May. Phil Spencer does an interview with Kind of Funny Games where he throws the developers Redfall under the fucking bus and also says Xbox will never win. Because they didn't win during the Xbox One generation, so
it's over. They can't possibly do anything.
It's over.
There aren't any decisions they're currently making and have been making for the last 5 years. They might
Look, no, he said they couldn't just make good games, and also that's not the point.
God.
Waypoint shuts down.
What a hero, by the way.
Yeah,
He's so brave.
He's so brave and based. But Waypoint shuts down. Final Fantasy 16 won't ship in Saudi Arabia because, as we later find out, it features a camera angle from space of two men kissing.
The dog watches.
I mean, it also has that one scene where the guy like is being weird to the character that shapeshifts, and one of the people they shapeshift into is a naked guy, so maybe that also contributed. Who knows?
But that naked guy was being het.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's okay. I've heard a lot about culture over there, and it's okay to just be nude. It's not, it's very het when you just lock eyes with another dude while completely nude.
Who's kneeling? Who's kneeling?
Yes. No, that's... Sony finally deigns to sell the PS5 version of Spider-Man 1 and charges $50 fucking for it.
Well, now we know that thing cost $2 million or $20 million. $40 million. Jesus.
They needed to soak up all the fucking losses from making a game that cost $750 million that they will inevitably do within a couple of years.
Pixel Opus, the creators of Concrete Genie, is shut down because I guess they couldn't make a $300 million game. I don't know. Seems like that's all Sony's interested in. Good job, Sony. The UK CMA slapped Microsoft with restriction on acquiring an interest in each other. They had to separate them. They're like, no talking. Riot Games gets a new CEO as they settle the gender discrimination lawsuit with 1,500 women for a total payout of $100 million. Average payout, by the way, $64,000. And let's see, this is the last bit of news for Big Thing 222. NVIDIA released more graphics cards that are disappointing because they're too expensive. Big Thing Dimension number 223. The Prince of Persia remake is in the conception phase after being moved to Ubisoft Montreal a year prior.
They're so washed.
It's okay. How many tens of billions or millions do you think that it cost to remake Prince of Persia?
Dude, it shouldn't cost that fucking much.
I know.
Fucking Ratchet and Clank cost $80 million.
I
Why are you spending
know.
more than that? KOTOR remake begins its death spiral. We start getting the hints. We start hearing things. We start going, oh, this is fucked, isn't it? Xbox stands all finally calmed down as Inspector Gadget Mad Time Party is announced to be coming to Xbox platforms. Hopefully everyone who was pissed on Twitter for attention is held accountable, and the internet just mob demands that they buy and play Inspector Gadget.
I would like to say that I went and looked.
Mm-hmm.
They printed discs for the other two versions. They made physical versions for the Switch and PS4 versions. They did not make copies for the Xbox version.
So okay, they're getting it digitally. It's gonna run like total shit because it's designed to run on the Series S.
Hey, it's on sale on Xbox Live for $23. Hey Dan, do you have $23?
No. And I guess neither does Ches Corden if he doesn't buy the game.
I mean, I assume it was when it launched the most streamed Xbox game.
Oh, yeah.
On Twitch.
Oh, definitely. Based on how much attention that one game got on Twitter for not being on Xbox. It better fucking be. It better be the Hogwarts Legacy of Xbox owners. It better just be the most sold game of the year on Xbox. Marvelous. Actually, no, I can't get there yet. Concord is shown off at a Sony show, and by shown off, I mean we saw Sandwich in Space. 2024.
What is it, Starfield?
Marvelous shows off a number of games, such as Story of Seasons multiplayer game, Rune Factory, but with dragons, Rune Factory 6, and Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion. I just wanted to bring this up because, yeah, I love Marvelous.
That all sounds cool.
That's some cool shit. We need some cool shit in this news, yo. Embracer stock collapses 40% as they announce a $2 billion deal with a mystery partner falls through.
Oh, we found out later that mystery partner was just Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Man, we sure have been talking about the fallout of this for the last how many months?
That was May, so 7 months.
7. Whoa.
Uh-huh.
We're not done.
No.
Because they're not fully just like they haven't closed down every studio yet, which I assume by the end of this they will have.
Yeah. Volvi. Oh, yeah, we're in June now, by the way. Volvi is unleashed on the masses. The story behind the development of Redfall, including ZeniMax forcing them to make a multiplayer game and no one at the studio wanting to make it, starts to be disseminated to the press through leaks and things. By the end of development, 70% of the people who made Prey are gone.
It was all their fault, though.
Okay.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah. It's like that studio's dead now. Like I feel like nobody even brought up this thing. Like they never made the connection. The studio that made Prey is now gone.
Yeah.
There is another studio in its place that has the name, but it is a different studio. It is a Ship of Theseus situation. And for the record, I'm on board of it not being the same ship.
Vampire the Masquerade Justice was announced for all modern VR platforms, and apparently from a number of review things I've watched, it's really great.
Weird.
How is Bloodlines 2 the most cursed game ever?
Yeah.
Well, you see,
They decided they would like to have all the prestige of being the follow-up to one of the most highly acclaimed cult classics of all time that people still buy and play to this day. Like when somebody gets a gaming PC for the first time, it's on the list. But they didn't want us to like spend any money on making the sequel to that.
That's hard.
They just wanted the to say they were doing it. So now that game will come out in like October of next year, sell 4 copies, and it'll have a bunch of entries in our Game of the Year categories that year.
Mega Man series producer Kazuhiro Tsuchiya leaves Capcom.
Did he end up anywhere by now?
I tried to look into it. I didn't see anything. His Twitter bio just says graduated from Capcom because that's how that translates.
Right. Man.
It sucks.
Yeah, this sucks.
For people who don't know, he was handling Street Fighter 6 after handling a bunch of Mega Man stuff, and then he just left because they obviously pulled him off of Mega Man stuff to help ship Street Fighter 6.
But Mega Man's coming back. It'll be fine. Everything's great. I keep seeing things being like, yeah, there's something they're going to announce soon. All scheduling got thrown
Off by
into disarray by COVID and everything else, but soon.
Yeah, because we don't have any
info. I believe them.
We don't have any info showing that Tyson was canceled.
Right.
I did see someone on Twitter saying Tyson's just a rumor, and somebody's like, no, it's not a rumor. It literally leaked from the company that they were making it. That's not a rumor. Big Thing 225, BioWare Austin is taken off of Star Wars The Old Republic to help with Mass Effect and Dragon Age, while Star Wars The Old Republic is handled by Broadsword, who does upkeep on Ultima Online and Dark Age of Camelot.
Can't wait to hear about all those projects being fine.
I really need to stress how fucking scary this is. While developing Anthem, BioWare Austin was like, let us help. Let us help you with Anthem. We have experience with online infrastructure and making this shit work and designing this sort of content. We've been in charge of your MMO for a decade. To which BioWare responded, fuck you, you're not real BioWare. So now that they need them now for single player things, imagine how bad it must be.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess you're not real BioWare either.
I mean, it's pretty true with how many people they've lost.
BioWare Austin changes their fucking studio mascot to a milkman.
Yeah, that's really how it feels.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 shows off terrible environmental screenshots and cancels all pre-orders.
Cool. I'm sure that's fine.
And the FTC sues Microsoft for $20 million because they, quote, collected information on children illegally. Big Thing Dimension number 226. Embracer begins massive restructure because of the $2 billion deal fallout. Tons of unannounced projects are canned. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the industry, Overwatch 2 announced their PvE plans which is an insanely compromised version of the vision they sold us on for years. Later, we find out they weren't going to happen all the way back at the launch of Overwatch 2. They knew years ago. They knew last year when they did Overwatch 2 that they were never going to be able to do the PvE stuff. They had already canceled it. They already moved on past that. But they put it in their marketing material. They let us believe it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we call in the industry a lie.
Yeah.
Now, let me say that this is all allegorical and metaphorical, and none of the things that I'm about to say I would like to literally happen.
Right, and that would basically mean it's legally inactionable.
Overwatch sold 50 million copies. The fact Blizzard was never able to spin that into anything, they successfully got diddly dick off that other than the sales they got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, your leadership should be flogged. It should be like the boat movie where they have to drag them out and whip them on the deck.
Yeah, the producers, plural, on Overwatch said that Activision Blizzard leadership, literally Bobby Kotick and his right-hand man, came in and demanded they do a bunch of shit that wasn't working on the game and then started making changes to the game that did not help development, so they couldn't get shit done.
When Arcane, the League of Legends show, came out and got all those awards, like, the producers of Overwatch should have been called into a room, and it's like that scene in Goodfellas where Joe Pesci walks into the room like thinking he's about to be rewarded and they kill him.
I guess I have to put in the tags, Goodfellas spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers for a movie that's so old the entire plot is inside Vice City.
Right. Goodfellas is older than literally all of us, right?
I think so. I think it was like 86.
Yeah, it's
or maybe it was like 92. It was 1990.
Oh, okay, so barely.
So only 33 years old.
Oh, that's all. Then it's not okay to spoil it. Anyways, big thing number 227 happens. A Nintendo Direct occurs where they leave out everybody 1-2 Switch intentionally because they know.
You moved.
Or Show Pony will be forgotten, luckily.
Yeah, he's no longer in the chat background. Excel is back. Inti Creates, this is how you know Big Thing 228 did not have bangers. Inti Creates announces Yohane the Parhelion, Blaze in the Deep Blue. It's a Love Live Metroidvania game.
Yeah.
Did that actually come out?
It came out.
So that's one of the ones you were supposed to pick up on sale, and
right?
they took it off sale because they hate you.
They do. And they tweeted today that it was on sale.
What assholes. Maybe it's like a staggered sale. They do that sometimes. July.
Microsoft says the PS5 Slim is real and it will be $400. I wish they were right.
Can't they fucking do anything right?
Right? Come on.
Yeah, they were wrong about this and wrong about when Wolverine was coming out. We now have to assume that they know nothing about Sony internally.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Daedalic Entertainment, the developer and co-publisher of Golem, announces they're done making games. They're just going to publish them from now on.
What? No way.
And thus, the cycle of first announced next-gen game is complete.
Yes.
Like, you gotta hand it to them. Like, it's a respectable stance. They went, whoo, that sucked. We're not doing that again.
Nintendo Dev Portal updates with a tab for NX2. The NX was the codename for the Switch. Nintendo will spend the rest of the year telling us that the Switch 2 isn't real. Meta leaked that less than $470 was the global revenue for Metaverse Horizon Worlds, which is their social media. That's their metaverse.
So, I mean, that's 470,000 or something.
No.
That's $470.
400 less than $470.
That's less than a PS5. One.
And that's revenue is the worst part. Because, of course, it's not profit. They've sunk millions in.
When they could have just bought a PS5.
Right? Big Thing 230. The FTC fails to get an injunction preventing Microsoft from acquiring Activision. Simultaneously, the Borderlands movie is firmly in post-production hell for 2 years, changed directions, and Craig Mazin had his name removed from it, and allegedly he never worked on it.
Okay. Will the Borderlands movie come out to theaters or will they drop it in streaming, Dan?
Which way does it count if it does both simultaneously?
I'm going to count that as dropping on streaming.
This is hard now.
Yeah, no.
This is so hard.
It's been in post-production so long and so many things. We've had like 5 stories in the past year of literally, it'd be cheaper to not release this. To not do a theatrical release for this.
I'm going to say they go the whole way, and it's theater exclusive for at least 1 week. Probably
Bob.
6 weeks.
I feel like this is Randy's last thing before he gets annihilation from the industry because Embracer dies.
Because Embracer dies.
So he might be able to push it through and get theater. I'm gonna believe in the theater run of Borderlands film.
Aggro.
Yeah, that long shot bad idea is possible, but I really think we're going streaming. I don't even think that hybrid thing is going to happen. They hate that shit. They've been pushing for the last couple of years. Oh, we fucked up with streaming. Go to the theater. The theater is holy. Go back to the theater.
Yeah,
we get
I
money
think
from
they're
the
just going to
theater.
drop it on streaming.
We're even getting bigger gaps between like DVD release and stream release. Like they want DVD sales to also recover. So yeah, I'm going with that shit's gonna be day one streaming.
We got someone in chat saying this Borderlands movie should be the second exclusive movie for the GigaBoots Patreon.
We can offer them the entire revenue of Meta.
I mean,
It's true. Jesus Christ. Moving on to big thing to mention number 231. Oh wait, what was Chris's bet? Chris,
Direct to streaming.
okay. So streaming,
theater.
theater.
I believe in the dream.
Okay.
I don't want to believe in the dream. I mean, I would like to believe in the dream because if it's day one on streaming, that means we're gonna have to fucking watch it.
Yes, that's true.
If it's
Otherwise,
lots of
it's gonna be me
theaters,
and
we can
Dan
be
doing the spoiler cast.
Right,
alone.
exactly. Now
Yeah,
I
I'm
live
not fucking going to theaters to see the Borderlands movie.
now I
Fuck
live
that.
a convenient distance from a theater instead of having to drive over at fucking Toll Bridge.
Uh-huh.
It's dangerous. They showed me that pass thing where they're like, you can watch 3 movies a week, and I'm like, 3 movies come out in a week that I would want to watch? What?
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
Yeah, but you could just see every movie. You could be
No,
so
yeah,
unbelievably cultured.
I could, and honestly, it's tempting. If I had more free time, then it would be really tempting.
Mm-hmm.
Big thing to mention, number 231. Xbox Live Gold is renamed to Xbox Game Pass Core. Games with Gold is dead. You get 25 games from a list. Fuck you, no more.
I would like to say that changing Xbox Live Gold to Xbox Game Pass Core when this is not technically a form of Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
and when you can buy versions of Game Pass that do not include Game Pass Core, it is not a linear progression anymore. Because, Bob, you can buy normal Game Pass that isn't Ultimate, and then that doesn't have online play included.
Oh my God, yeah. Of course not. Why would it?
Microsoft is physically incapable of giving any of its projects, any of its product suites, a name that fucking makes sense to anybody.
Lisa the Painful Definitive Edition is censored for the sake of someone at Sony, so it swaps out alcohol and cigarettes for soda and candy.
Yeah, God. Jim
If
Ryan.
anything
get out.
changes from Jim Ryan leaving, I hope this is one of the things that is firmly on him and whoever, because he's British,
Same.
so I'm just going to assume.
Him and that guy who was underneath him with him that went to jail for kid stuff. I hope it was one or both of them. And now that we're free of both of them. Meta officially gives up on doing a Quest Pro headset ever again. Good.
Yeah.
You fucking nimrods. The controller's overheated. The thing cost way too much. And then you just made a Quest 3 the next year that was better in every single way. And $500 cheaper.
But tongue tracking.
Is that real?
Uh-huh.
How do they track your tongue?
I think the thing's got external cameras, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they
So
face
just
outward. Is it like?
Do you have to like stick your tongue out then? I guess.
Yeah. No, I like it's binary. It's tongue in, tongue out.
That's fucking stupid.
Hey! Let the VR
like, the
chat
only thing
people
that's
decide whether or not it's
VR
valid.
chat is the only thing that currently supports it.
Oh, great. So the field of giving VR head is going to take some fucking steps forward.
Oh, believe me, it's running. It's a marathon. They're going the distance. But now I'm like, wait a minute. Did that person I see do that in VR chat have a... Okay, that explains... in the moment, it did not occur to me to think, how's the tongue tracking? Literally, the last thing on my brain is, what is this person doing in real life? I'm more concerned with being near them doing whatever in there. Big Think Dimension number 232. Capcom acquires Sword Canes, one word, studio, who made art for new Pokemon Snap, Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear Strive, Final Fantasy 16, and more. Tencent also acquires Visual Arts, who owns Key, which, reminder, Key is Clannad and Kanon and Stell of the End. Tencent owns that now. Simultaneously, Tencent also acquires Techland, makers of Dying Light 2. In the original Dead Island. Switchback VR, which is, what is it? Dark Pictures : Switchback VR. Gets a huge visual overhaul and reminded me that I maybe need to play it for Game of the Year, but I don't know. But Aggro and I had some conversations. And last bit of news for July. The Pixel FX Gem is announced. An HDMI mod that will fail me spectacularly doing a Bujingai stream. Thank you so much. I'm glad I spent hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
We're now in August. Let's change that over to August. I'm really glad there aren't too many news stories where I go, I lost a shitload of money on this piece of thing that didn't fucking work. Fantasian is listed in the Steam database, and it is still not out. Why?
They hate us.
Fuck you.
Why is everybody so mean to me? Star Wars Jedi Survivor is announced for last-gen consoles. Bob is convinced that will be the version to play. The problem is they probably won't give a next-gen version of those last-gen versions. So it'll just run at whatever the cap is there, and I bet the cap's 30.
Oh, yeah, they might cap it.
Who knows? Don't let Digital Foundry talk to them.
No,
They'll cap it at 30 if they talk to them.
I assume they will. The next gen versions are already out. They're capping that shit.
Redditon, the spiritual successor to Patapon, blows past its Kickstarter goals. Hooray. PS5 Pro leaks, surprisingly accurate to the modern leaks. So that started in August. Now we know. Switch 2 dev kits are in the hands of devs. Nintendo denies that the Switch 2 is real. Big Think 234, Microsoft announces a Killer Instinct 10th anniversary update. Big Think 235, Microsoft announces the Xbox 360 marketplace is shutting down in July 2024. So I guess at that point, then piracy is legal. I think that's how that works, Bob.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure, not positive. Let's see. For this next one, I actually
like if you can't buy it, it's not piracy. It's archaeology.
That's true. That's true.
As people keep saying, if buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing.
Yep. Xbox announces new console wraps. We have a GIF of that in action. Shame cube, shame cube, shame cube.
Those they really do look so embarrassingly shitty. Like I would feel ashamed if I was attached to these things. Like it's just pathetic.
Yeah, like this is something somebody came up with because the assigned project failed.
Yeah, because they wanted something like the blades on PlayStation or like the blades or whatever they call it, the faceplate
honestly,
on the
like
360.
I feel like it's like we can't justify releasing like a special edition of the Series X. These things don't move as is.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Like we can't even justify making a shipment of like 100,000.
I would get a GIF of the real one going because it's in the document. But the problem is Google Docs doesn't let you save images in it for whatever reason.
Yeah. No, they made a bad program for no reason.
Would a tech company really do that? Oh, hey, I found it. We're good. We're safe. Let me see. Okay, guys. Let's go over here. Great. Okay, so here's that animation of it working.
Oh, good.
Almost didn't get to include that in the show. Oh, wait, that's the same old GIF. I literally can't tell the difference. They look so similar. Here's the real one. There we go. I felt material like that before, like binder sort of texture. And
It looks like it's made out of the same thing you would make like a board game out of.
you think?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be hard board?
Yeah, like hard.
But it's got the
cardboard.
edges that look like the binder plastic seams, where you melt it in order to... So it literally looks like it's going to feel like a shitty binder.
Either way is bad.
Yeah,
just so we're clear.
This is
I don't know if anyone actually bought this, so we don't. We don't
Maybe
have,
I
like,
should
on
buy
hand.
it. Should I buy it?
I think they're like $50, so probably not.
Yeah, no, I don't have $50. Reminder, I don't have $23, allegedly. So that way I don't have to get Inspector Gadget. Most of this week's been soup anyways. And like smoothies made out of like random fruit. So, obviously I don't have money because I'm eating protein bars and smoothies and soup. Anyway, PlayStation Productions teases a Days Gone and Medieval movie.
Disgusting.
Like, that's two separate projects, right?
Yes, sadly. Because that could be the funniest thing, get fucking Deke
Yeah.
and Sir Daniel Fortescue. And Deke's just screaming all the time, and Daniel's like, because he can't talk.
Right.
Yeah, no, this would fucking rule. Deke and Dan do America.
Sonic Origins Plus gets an update that finally fixes the visuals from the launch game. And since it's Plus, it also fixes the Game Gear audio. How did it take this long to fix the scaling?
Yeah, it's
that
like a
game
full
came
year.
out in 2022. It's more than a year. Because they released Plus on the anniversary. Volition was shut down.
Boo.
Elder Scrolls 6, a game announced in 2018, has just entered early development as of August.
This year. Just a reminder.
And the price of every tier of PlayStation Plus goes up. Fuck you, Sony.
Disgusting. They now do
Yup.
sales that only include higher tiers. They will not drop the price of the lowest one.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. The sales never affect that one now. They're like, no, that's $70. You were paying that.
Nope, Chris disconnected.
Okay, I'm here.
More like Chris connected. Yeah, for some reason your video's gone. Don't ask me.
Have to share it again.
Oh, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, there he is. We now enter September. I hope no comical news arcs continue now that we're here in September. Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodlines 2 resurfaces and confirms, in fact, the Chinese room is the developer. They have none of the staff they had when they developed any game you know about. Any game you know
they literally shut down and reopened, like between anything anybody remembered in this.
This game is due out next fall.
Yeah.
Sure.
Retro Game Challenge 1+2 was announced for the Switch. No English release announced, but they fucking better. Retro Game Challenge is great for people who don't know. That's the Game Center CX / Retro Game Master game for the DS. It's one of my favorite games I went and bought in a mall randomly for the DS, and then later it ballooned in price insanely. It cost me like $12, $15. Now I don't even know. But if you have a flash card, give it a try. They better announce this for the States. Skull and Bones loses its creative director again.
Incredible.
Switch 2 tech demos were shown off the devs at Gamescom, but once again, this is a lie perpetrated against Nintendo, who would never do something as heinous as making a Switch 2. The Switch is forever.
Keep the faith, brother.
Well, let's see. It still isn't 2024. It is not. So by my estimates, the Switch 2 will be real on January 23rd, 2024.
Like they're gonna open the sales numbers for holiday sales for the Switch, like breaking the fucking seventh seal, and down from the sky will come the Switch 2, fully formed.
How did this happen? They say as it descends upon them with its majesty. Big thing to mention, number 239. Unity tries to foist an installation fee on the developers, burning all the goodwill it had built up over the entire duration of Unity to the fucking ground. All the trust is shattered. This is honestly one of the biggest, highest profile news stories of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You do not see a giant corporation blow themselves up like this for incredibly pig-headed, nearsighted reasons.
Yeah, like this move got Silksong delayed by 2 full years.
Stig Asmussen, director of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, leaves EA. He previously said he thought of the Star Wars Jedi series as a trilogy.
Not
And
worrying at all.
And then they said, we view it as leading into a service game because that's the only way we can justify a budget of $350 million.
So you're one of 20 Jedis dropping on this asteroid, and you have to find, what are these, meth crystals? I don't know. To make your lightsaber. The iPhone 15 Pro is announced and has ray tracing. So now it's real and important, needs to be in every game.
Definitely.
Fun fact, and I'm not bitter about this, I just find this amusing. I have a top-of-the-line iPhone from 2 years ago, 13 Pro. I cannot play Resident Evil 4 on my phone. And well, part of me goes, oh, yeah, it's fucking Resident Evil 4. What the fuck? Why would that run on your phone? Another part of me is like, has that ever been the case? Like, ever? Has that ever been the case that it's like, your phone's 2 years old. You can't play new game, grandpa.
Yeah, the future is now, you penniless hillbilly.
Oh, how did he know I'm a penniless hillbilly?
Because you moved Alabama.
F-Zero 99 Shadow drops.
Oh, yeah, I haven't played that at all.
I need to play that before it disappears.
It was neat.
Xbox. Oh, wait, big thing to mention, number 240. This is the second biggest news story of this year, in my opinion. Unless you give Embracer second. I give this second. Xbox accidentally uploads all their FTC documents without any of the redaction they did for the court trial. So we get to learn all about the adorably all-digital GameTube.
Jesus.
The new controller with haptic feedback but no motion controls. It just has an accelerometer in it, and it needs more sensors than that in order to do motion control. So it's just to move the controller and wake it up. Because one of the most annoying things about Xbox controllers is that you can't even watch one episode of Bleach before it puts the controller to sleep. There's some next-gen system down the road, like 2028, that is potentially hybrid hardware or a transition to ARM CPUs entirely. That's interesting.
It's going to be a cloud. It's going to be a cloud stick. It's going to be a cloud
They did
stick
also
or a cloud
announce
portable.
that. Yeah, they did also announce that.
There will not be another Xbox Cloud.
I said they announced that.
Yeah,
they leaked
that.
I know. I'm saying, yeah. I'm just saying. I think that they will do a cloud thing, and that's the end of Xbox.
I honestly think it's really possible that both Sony and Microsoft go ARM CPUs for the next one if AMD is able to make the transition and let it run code from their x86 CPUs. We'll see, because let me tell you, x86 is an architecture we have on PC that maybe is being transitioned to away from in a lot of spaces. And Microsoft apparently was also very confident the day the Road to PS5 video went up, thinking their console would be substantially better.
Very fun emails.
That didn't even include the Phil Spencer thinks they can buy Nintendo chunk of the emails.
That's true. I didn't even include that.
Yeah, what an insane set of emails we got.
So about it being the second biggest news story.
Reminder that in the time after he sent that email, Nintendo sold 100 million additional Switches.
They're gonna buy them, damn it.
Obviously, their future's being bought.
Jim Ryan is announced to be leaving Sony in March, with Hiroki Todoki replacing him as CEO then. Not now, then. Even though we already have statements from Hiroki talking about future plans of Sony. That's an interesting setup. Devil May Cry, the Netflix, is actually announced for real, and it's being made by Studio Mirror, who made Voltron, Korra, and that one Superman show that I don't know the name of that's running right now.
The Lois Lane one? What? I don't know if it's
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't remember its actual title.
Anytime somebody has a quirky name for a Superman series, it just, in my head, it becomes Lois and Clark.
Yeah, which is fair.
It's like Superman and his amazing friends. I don't know.
My Adventures with Superman? Okay.
That sounds right.
That sounds right, yeah.
Additionally, Chris Metzen is in charge of Warcraft outright again. And Epic lays off 870 people, sells Bandcamp, and guts the Fall Guys team. NVIDIA gets raided by French authorities over anti-competitive stuff in the cloud space. KOTOR Remake has its trailers taken down, and it's probably really definitely almost definitely canceled. Or just going to disappear for years and years and then come back, and they'll be like, yeah, it just took a long time to develop. And we're like,
And it changed the teams entirely, had no shared content whatsoever from the original version, but it's definitely the same project.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
We
I believe you.
promise.
The same titles on the door.
And Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 Plus 2 comes to Steam. I then sit there and wonder, hey, do you think the frame rate's capped in that? Do you think that can run at 480 frames per second? Now we're in October. The Last of Us multiplayer is clearly canceled after 25 quality assurance staff members are laid off and the principal monetization designer leaves. Months later, they will officially cancel it.
Are we skipping Kamiya leaving Platinum?
Where's that?
It was just above the Tony Hawk Pro Skater thing.
Oh, yeah, I missed that. Hideki Kamiya leaves Platinum. I kind of referenced that earlier when I said the other guy, the CyberConnect guy, came in, but I forgot to mention it here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny when we can tell things happen way in advance and then later they announce it. So I'm going to need everyone on the internet stop being a stick in the mud asshole anytime we talk about things that are clearly happening at studios.
Right?
Because it took them 2.5 more months to officially cancel the Last of Us multiplayer game. Overwatch League is canceled. BioWare is sued by several people. They fired recently for not giving typical severance pay. They drastically underpaid these people. Cybershell finally gets to make officially sanctioned Sega-branded content.
And it's like his worst performing video.
Maybe, yeah, probably. He's like, who the fuck is
that's
Fake
'cause
the
he couldn't be
Sniper?
insane.
They're like, oh, it's too sanitized. And he's like, well, at least I got a paycheck. Bravia Core, a thing no one should know the name of,
Yeah.
rebrands to Sony Pictures Core. Cool. And comes out on the PS4 and PS5. PlayStation Plus Plus and PlayStation Plus members can have an access to a library of 100 movies. I still haven't looked at this.
Yeah, I'm like, they said this was happening, but I don't know if it actually did happen.
I think it's already.
Okay.
I just haven't even looked at it. That's a great way to watch Venom.
I guess so, yeah.
They own Venom.
They better have it on
It better be on that line. Watch, it's going to be Venom 1, but not Venom 2.
They'll be like, no, it's too new.
Assassin's Creed Mirage adds de novo with a day one patch. What pieces of crap.
Yep.
Big Think 243. John Riccatello left all positions at Unity.
What a piece of crap.
Tom Clancy's XD-RAR was delayed indefinitely due to problems. Chris, do you have any idea what those problems might be for this game as a service? It could be anything. Who knows?
What could be going on?
Yeah. Man, things are going so great for Ubisoft right now.
Yeah, if there's one theme from this year roundup, it's Ubisoft's doing so good, you guys.
Did
They
manage to
definitely
release-
aren't going to go out of business around September of next year.
They got out Assassin's Creed Mirage and an Avatar game. They're doing fine.
And that Prince of Persia game that's clearly a budget game is coming out next month or the month after, and that's going to save them.
Skull
save
and
'em.
Bones is still set to February, I think, 16th.
Yeah, it's real. They're doing the closed beta. You can play it.
I mean, there's Skull and Bones stand only activates when you get within 5 weeks.
That's true. I won't be surprised at all if over New Year's it's just like delayed.
It's like that
we
boat
don't know when.
movie where they chase the boat and the boat's clearly faster than them, so they can't catch it.
Oh my God! If only the calendar year had a faster boat, they could catch up.
You know what's a really good way to get out of the shit they have going on with Singapore is to just go out of business.
Yeah.
It's funny how just shutting down entirely helps you not have legal problems. We also found out this month that Paradox gutted Harebrained Schemes, the developers of the new Shadowrun and Battletech games, right before their new game shipped in July.
Here's a fun game. Anybody, what was that game called?
Right, that's why I didn't write it here. I was going to say, hey, anyone, what's the name of that game? What's the name of the game that shipped in July? You know that coating you can put on things to make them completely hydrophobic?
Right?
That's this game's name.
Reforged?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. That might be the subtitle.
No. I remember the name of this game. Aggro, do you have any guesses?
Shadowrun 3.
No. They couldn't make Shadowrun 3 because Microsoft owns Shadowrun and also Battletech, and they're not doing anything with those, but the publisher that was working with Harebrained Schemes didn't want to do those games because they'd get a slightly worse margins from Microsoft wanting a little piece.
Cool.
What is
Does
it?
everybody give up?
Yeah.
Does everybody give up on the name? Lamplighters League.
Huh.
Yeah, I would never have gotten that. I mean, maybe Lamplighters. No way I'm getting the League.
It was like I think it's like a combination of like a CRPG and like an XCOM thing that's like a pulp action 1930s Indiana Jones, Atlantis the Lost Kingdom type.
That's
thing.
weird because the name makes me think it's going to be like a basketball game of some sort.
Also, employees at CD Projekt Red, known inventors of Cyberpunk 2077, the game, not the letter J, formed a union. Good for them.
Yeah,
Good
great.
for them.
They clearly need one.
Oh, and the PS5 Slim is real. No price drop. Screw you, Sony.
A lot of that this year.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of that this year. Microsoft successfully acquires Activision Blizzard King. Bobby Kotick will stay until the end of the year, fiscal year, and ensure the transition goes smoothly. Weirdly enough, he's out in 8 days.
Right?
Phil Spencer makes a non-committal statement about reviving old IPs, and journalists clap. God,
Every time.
I bet they'll hold him to it this time.
Yeah.
Intel launches new 14,000 series CPUs. They are literally just the 13,000 series CPUs rebranded.
Incredible.
Squadron 42, the Star Citizen single-player game, is feature complete. I don't think they announced a date, though, so 2024? Who knows? Euphoria The Saga 2 is announced for early 2024. I don't know if more people in this fan base know about Euphoria than know about Hey Onkyo Alien.
Yeah, well,
I think that's the same number.
that's fair.
Capcom put out some developer-oriented videos on YouTube about the Rex engine, which is the successor to the RE engine. In this, they admit the RE engine really couldn't do ray tracing, right? And I'm like, I knew it! So anyways, wonder why Pragmata was delayed.
Mysteries.
Man, I bet Pragmata will look really good on the PS5 Pro with this proper fucking temporal AA. They're like, we didn't figure out temporal AA, though. And I'm like, come on! City Skylines 2 releases showcasing why maybe you shouldn't use the high-definition rendering pipeline for Unity for a real game. It is horrifically unoptimized, an absolute mess of a game. Oh, and they delayed the console versions because it barely runs on a 4090. Yeah. That brings us to November. Microsoft starts blocking third-party products on Xbox that don't have official certification.
Boo.
Bungie starts firing employees like crazy, insisting it was an autonomous decision, but later it came out that this was to avoid a horrible clause in a contract with Sony for a hostile takeover.
Yes, basically they want to avoid the part of their contract that they signed with Sony that says if they don't do good enough, Sony gets to take over the company.
It also later comes out that apparently a lot of the people who got fired were coincidentally people spearheading diversity initiatives.
Yes, that was also part of it.
Atari acquires Digital Eclipse. I hope this goes well. Devolver Digital acquires System Era Softworks. Sony Interactive Entertainment acquires iSize, a company that specializes in AI improving video stream quality. So that's a pretty valid use of AI. NetEase Games forms a new studio called Fantastic Pixel Castle. It's a remote-first studio being led by Greg Street. That's, y'all make fun of Dan video games, but Greg Street. That should be your man on the street guy for a news segment. I don't know. Who worked on WoW, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, and Age of Empires 1 through 3, and Mythologies. Big Think 247. Microsoft is partnering with in-world AI to use AI for NPC dialogue and narrative tools. When I said that was a good use of AI in the prior Big Think, I did not think, I didn't read this far yet. This was not a, so for comparison. The PS4 and PS5 can no longer post on Twitter. Thanks, Elon.
Yeah, great.
What an asshole.
I tried to do that 2 days ago. I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
It's not here.
Never before has someone used so much to suck so hard.
I know. The Epic Game Store isn't profitable even still. Apparently, they planned on getting half of the PC gaming market with the power of exclusives.
They're so fucking dumb.
What else was in your crown drawing of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Right.
Yeah.
This is just farcical. You'd think anyone, any analyst they hired would have been able to tell them, no, hell no.
No, I just
Impossible.
I put it on the dream board. I'm going to go on a diet, exercise, and become president of the United States of America. Revenant Hill is canceled. One of the main forces behind it, Scott Benson, has a severe heart condition, basically can't work. This is from the people who made. Brain is blanking. Chat will get it. Chat, you know the name. We will come back to the name. Night in the Woods, thank you. I don't know why I didn't write that down. I wrote down everything else. Braid Remaster revealed that it's in fact real and coming out April 30th. The internet begins to actually care that John Blow is a fucking anti-vaxxer.
Good.
I was in a Discord and I just casually mentioned that. Someone else casually mentioned that. And this other person's like, he's not an anti-vaxxer. I'm like, yeah, it is. He's tweeted about it. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, let me pull up the thing. Oh, look, an entire article written about that. They're like, yeah, I saw that, but I didn't see him be an anti-vaxxer. I'm like, that statement is about how he thinks vaccines are dangerous, so people should be forced to take them because it's not their fault, because they didn't invent COVID, which was invented in a lab. How could this be any more?
Yeah, just kick them out of the Discord. Like,
Yeah,
that's that tier of like, no, you aren't engaging in conversation at all.
Something's not firing up there. Miyamoto reveals that he's working with Avi Arad on developing a live-action Legend of Zelda movie.
Oh boy,
better be Ryan Gosling.
Oh my god, if they go silent Link and he just makes noises and it's Ryan Gosling, that would be the highest grossing film of the year.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't one of the draw requests still up in the air, you drawing Ryan Gosling as Link?
I don't remember.
I need to double check the list. Hironobu Sakaguchi starts work on his next project. Hiroki Totoki says only 6 of the 12 live service games will be out by the end of fiscal year 2025.
This is Sony.
I don't think that many will be out.
Yeah.
And the Steam Deck OLED comes out. Ooh. NetEase Games establishes a new studio, Worlds Untold, led by Mass Effect series writer Mac Walters. It has other BioWare alumni as well. Wonder Woman has the game, not the woman, has job listings that suggest it's a live service game. Later, Monolith denies this, which if they're telling the truth, it just means it's going to have some horrible microtransaction nightmare like Shadows of War.
Uh-huh.
Forza Motorsport came out. This isn't even like, this should just be a PSA unto itself. Forza Motorsport came out. No one has played it. Every time it comes up a big thing to mention, a new comment appears where they go, oh, a new one. A new one happened?
I keep thinking I should try that, and then I'm like, it has no music, and I'm like, okay, you failed. You failed. You failed to make a game I want to play like that for a racing game. That's a non-starter.
Yeah, no, that's a problem. That is legit ass a problem.
It's like we'll listen to your own music. I don't want to listen to my own music. I want to listen to the music you cultivated with your choices and then judge that.
Exactly. The Last of Us Part 2 remake is finally announced. Only a $10 upgrade for PS4 owners and adds a few modes. I'm tempted to see if I can buy a cheap used copy of the game because I have a brain disease.
Yeah, I went looking. It was actually really hard to find
used copies of The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, they were all like $25 to $30. And I was like, wow, that's too much. Yeah, I think Amazon didn't even have them. I had to go to eBay.
Returnal Nex Machina's director, Harry Kruger, leaves Housemarque after 14 years of being there. My outlook on their next game is currently rock fucking bottom. For people who haven't followed the story elsewhere in this year, the studio Housemarque scaled up to become a leading edge developer for Europe. I'm like, oh, cool. $300 million game, huh?
Yeah. Man, yeah, after seeing those numbers come from Sony and find out exactly what that means is real scary.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully they're sitting on that 80 million side.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be neat. I mean, Returnal was at minimum that.
Right?
Game Maker updates their plans now. The free version is free for non-commercial licenses because everyone out here is trying to eat Unity's lunch that they dropped. Big Thing 250, EA patents tech to use your voice for in-game characters via AI, which will absolutely, positively involve you signing over your likeness for voice to be used in other games against your will. Because that's just how it goes. Sony Interactive Entertainment and NCSoft announced strategic partnership that's strategic.
Ooh.
Tribes 3 appears out of nowhere for $20 on PC, first and later consoles. Finally, some news to say Shazbot about. If only we had more news stories that justify a Shazbot.
Right?
The Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake hits an important internal milestone.
I can't believe they even said this.
Allegedly.
Now we're in December. This is it. It's happening.
Yeah.
Boom. Big Think is now real with us in front of a background in 4K.
Whoa.
Cool.
Here. In the time chamber.
The time chamber delivering you the news. The GTA 6 trailer comes out.
Neat.
IGN confirms that Bungie stuff with the diversity leads and why the firings happen. The Game Awards happened and everyone was unhappy with how little time developers got to talk when accepting their awards.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds for all the other awards. Kind of bad. I get it on some level.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds for the Game of the Year winner?
Yeah, that's deranged.
Yeah.
That is absolutely deranged.
Didn't they do the last reveal of the night before that even?
They did.
So give him fucking 5 minutes.
No, he's talking about the people who fucking died making the game. Now's a good time to rush him. That looks great on us.
Uh-huh.
Embracer. Oh, right. We're on sorry. We're not there yet. Twitch is ending service in Korea due to fees from Korean ISPs for bandwidth use. Big thing to mention 252. Embracer gutted Danish 3D Realms. Modest Games gutted Main 6. The team behind Them's Fightin' Herds, Free Radical, is officially closed.
This year sucked.
E3's dead forever. Twitch allows boobs for one day. And Kojima's working with A24 on a live-action Death Stranding movie, not a direct adaptation. So, go ahead and say what you're going to say, Chris. It's gone.
All the stuff from the that came out of Free Radical looked good. Looked so good.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about how they were Trojan horsing that thing.
Yeah, we didn't talk. We never talked about how the time splitters they were making for the first year and a half of its development was a battle royale, so they could trick
Their
publishers into letting them make a real time splitters game. And eventually they had settled on, okay, we're doing like a best of the whole series, like redoing levels and concepts from all these games to set up for anything that would come later, and then they just fucking canned it.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that sucks so bad.
Yeah.
All of that sucks so bad. I'm so mad. And then we hit this week's big thing, which had the Insomniac leak showing tons of budgets and future plans for games.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Kotick, of course, as we mentioned a moment ago, leaving in 8 days. 7. It just clicked past midnight. Oh my god. Bloober Team is making some sort of Skybound Entertainment IP game. Who knows? What the fuck? The PS5 is selling 1-to-1 with the PS4 during this time in its lifespan. So, Aggro, if I pulled the string on your action figure, what does it say again?
I actually had a moment of panic running through various catchphrases.
Shaz,
Lesser of two evils.
No! No, you stop!
Oops, the finite boundaries of a physical universe.
El Shaddai Ascension Metatron HD remasters coming out on Switch in Japan for April 28th. That's good. They announced a Hunter x Hunter 8 game. 8 being the Bloody Roar / DNF duel people.
Yeah, in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yep. Discovery said, "Oops, we're sorry. You could keep your movies that you bought, but only for 30 more months. And then who knows?" We didn't bring up Link's Awakening DX HD coming out and then uncoming out.
A very
It's small enough to be transferred through Discord, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
The very accurate recreation of Link's Awakening, right,
Yeah,
Chris?
1-to-1, right?
Sure, if you don't care about accuracy at all, and if it has the graphics and the music, you say that's pretty much the same game.
Yeah.
Like if you don't notice that pits now like suck you towards them with an unnatural gravitational pull that the original game didn't have at all. Like if you completely give up that, then yes, it's 1-to-1.
Aggro brought up one of those gross Activision lawsuits settled. We sure have had a lot of that this year, huh?
Yeah.
And a patent comes out of Sony confirming exactly what leaked 1 week ago. And I've been saying for about a year now, at least, of, hey, I bet the PS5 Pro solves temporal AA because FSR2 looks like shit. The patent literally details exactly how their hardware-based temporal AA thing works. And the last most important bit of news in the year 2023. Hey, yo, the LG announced a 4K OLED. That's 32-inch. It does 4K at 240 hertz and 1080p at 480 hertz. How important?
Incredible.
What an important bit of news. And that's it for the wrap-up. Boom. We did it. I want to thank anyone who watched this thing the whole way through. This is an important historical document. If you're doing timestamps for this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Things go so fast. We already talked about what we were doing in the big thing. So if you're watching this and you're like, what are they doing next? Go watch Big Thing Dimension number 235 or 253. Dyslexia is a bitch. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. I'm gonna do the normal outro because why not? Goodbye. What if something happens next week is not canon? Nothing that happens in the last 9 days of the year counts.
There wouldn't even have been any news this week if fucking hackers hadn't taken Insomniac behind a shed and beat him until things fell out.
It's so true. Thank you very much for listening to this Big Think News Roundup. This was only possible because of you and your support over at patreon.com/GBpodcast, where you can get podcasts with some extra podcasts, some commentary tracks for podcasts, some podcasts for podcasts. Who even knows what the next series is capable of? maybe we're watching Marvel movies and ranking them by how good the ending bit is. I don't know. Anything is possible.